Right, let's talk about Doctor Who. I think that's a good place to start. Let's talk about Doctor Who. So there's an immense amount of gaslighting going on about this episode Rogue, right? They're saying, well, if it was Doctor's kissed women before and he also kissed Captain Jack one episode. What's the difference? What's the difference if it's two men kissing? What's the two men kissing? Like, you bigot? Are you bigot? You must be a bigot, homophobe. So no. The problems are many and varied. The first problem is it's way more excluding than it is inclusive, right? We have a lot of articles from queer activists saying it's so great that we can see Doctor Who kissing. It makes it so much safer for boys to want to kiss. Again, I'm sorry. Look, the most people's sex drive is strong enough to them to get over fear, right? And it's the same if you're gay or you're straight, right? Look, if you're a younger person, I want you to know, this is really important to know, that the hot girls in school are as scared as you are, right? And if you project confidence and strength, they will be turned on by you, right? But like, none of us knew, right? None of us knew. I wish I could go back in time and say, hey, actually, I did kind of work it out reasonably early on. Now, but confidence and strength is what attracts people in general, right? But yeah, everybody's scared. Everybody's scared exploring their sexuality. Now they're scared. They go, oh, my sex still. Oh no, help me, right? Oh no, don't. Oh no, I'm ace. Don't help me. I don't want to have that important part of my life. But it's normally enough, right? This sex drive is normally enough to force you over your fear of rejection, which is what it essentially is, right? And basically, I don't know, you're just scared you're going to fuck it up somehow, right? I don't know. And everybody does. It's all cool. Right, you don't need reinforcement to go to sexually experiment when you're a kid because it's built into all our DNA, right? Look, honestly though, you want to have a happier life. The traditional, values that we've forgotten for the last 50 years made everybody's lives happier, right? When you had it was considered immoral if you got divorced, right? And again, I think divorce is an important thing. It's a good thing to have if you have couples that get married and they doesn't work, they hate it. You shouldn't live in misery, right? I'm a strong believer in that, right? But the goal was to have one sexual partner in your entire life. And life was better for it, right? And have strong homes, strong families which raise children, right? That life was better for it. So, there's been a lot of, I think, very disingenuous comparisons to other times the Doctors had romance in it, and that's basically, the modern era. And I think every kiss has been very, very innocent to a great extent, or has been with as an expression of love. This Rogue was an expression of lust. It was, as somebody said in the chat, it was hookup culture, right? And it's not a good thing. It's not going to bring you happiness, right? I understand. Everybody likes to have sex. But honestly, speaking to somebody on the other side of life right now, right, heading towards the more, I can look back at decades and go, sex with a single partner is better. It just is, right? Life is better. Life is happier, right? And I think this degenerate lifestyle that they're promoting with this, where again, it's not degenerate because they're two men kissing. It's degenerate because it's hookup culture. Is not helpful at all, and it's again one of the reasons why I would not watch this with my children, because I think it's portraying genuinely immoral, generally immoral lifestyle, right? And promoting a genuinely immoral lifestyle, and that's beyond religion. Oh, review it yourself, Sophie. Did I see you? You had a great little stream about Earthshot going on yesterday, didn't you? head over to Sean, revert yourself. That looked like a really good stream. I didn't have time to watch it yet, but I wasn't intrigued by that. So the other great parallel to this would be Madame de Pompadour, which is there's two parallels. Madame de Pompadour, because did they kiss? I can't remember, but again, it was predominantly a non-sexual connection, expressed somewhat romantically, somewhat physically romantically, but it was the that mind read like that mind reading scene was when she saw into him, and I think it was that intimacy that created the bond, right? So that was so I don't think that was hookup culture, is what I'm trying to say. And then you got River Song. Again, it was very, I think, purposely not explicit. If it was a sexual relationship or a physical relationship, my feeling was with David Tennant's Doctor and Matt Smith's Doctor, it wasn't, right? It was more, it's the same thing as if you watch Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, right? You got, what's the name? What's the name of the character? Hot blonde, Kate Capshaw. Was in it as like the romantic, sex appeal, romantically, right? The leading lady, and but if you watch the movie, it's very innocent, right? It's like it's there because they know that big gruff male heroes, have women's, win the woman over, right? So, but it wasn't like real genuine sexuality. That was the vibe I got from it. I got the vibe that, and again, this is in my head. However you want to look at it, it's however you want to look at it. That the Capaldi River Song marriage part, he probably was a husband to her, right? In a physical manner, but I think it was more to elevate her against what she needed, right? And so that was my impression of it. This is pure hookup culture, right? This is just pure hookup culture. There was no romance about it at all. It was purely sexual. Again, here, let me just pull this up. Ooh, she cried. A little supercut I put together. We looked at it just now. I actually hated the gyrating Doctor only like slightly less than the snogging Doctor, right? But the gyrating Doctor, fuck it all. And again, this was not and you can also say the Doctor and Rose. Again, that was an emotional connection that I think could have been represented in physical attraction, but this is just hookup culture.
I'll tell you what, when we both get out of this,
we'll fuck like buddies.
Let's argue across the stars.
Again, nothing has happened to demonstrate a relationship at this point.
I like that.
You know what I like more? To stick my tongue down your throat. Or your arsehole, one of the two. Oh, so close, but so far. But don't worry, this song comes. Oh, no! Crying man's backbone! I'm Doctor Who,
Can you lose your friend to save the world?
Yes, Doctor, to save the world. You gotta let me suck your dick. Oh, well, if you put it that way. Fine. If Millie Gibson, just so you know, if the only way is it to save the world is have you suck my dick, I will sacrifice myself for the world, okay? But I'm here for you, baby. I'm here for you. Oh, more crime! And I'm sure you saw all they had lots of shots of their feet. It's just so you can see them wearing tights and women's shoes, right? I'm sure that's why. Can I take your mind off it with a bit of a handy? Oh, you silly little Time Lord! Let me wipe those tears away.
I know.
Why? Do you notice there's a complete lack of characterization? Yeah, here you go. And then he has to grab his tit. What is grabbing? Really, dude? Stop! You made me want to roll, wind that back a little bit. Oh, it's so romantic. Fuck, Billy. No, this isn't fucking normal. Your whole generation's fucked up. Don't buy into this. Okay, it makes more sense you make out with what the burpee with behind you. Still going for it. Now, that made no fucking sense whatsoever, right? No, I'm like, you set up all these weird different rules like this. You're stuck there, you can't move out, and she just knocks her out. This is also he can throw him a bunch of flowers. Here, Ducky, have a bunch of flowers. You know, I'm from a universe where Aladdin from the Daleks is as gay as I could get, right? Especially in the Cushing movies. This is just like off the charts gay.
Find
me, and then take me. Take me roughly, but gently. I love that he goes last so he can start crying again. Oh no! My fun buddy's not here anymore. Who will finger my asshole now? I don't know. And I just bought 3 new ball gags. Maybe I should have a bit of a cry again. And again, amazingly, still worse than the Acolyte season 3, right? Not good, not fun, not funny. So anyway, to help walk us through the insanity and the fallout, right? There's a lot of fallout we have to deal with. I sent out. I called the banners, right? I sent out the what's the word? What's the thing when you fire You're on a ship, right? And you fire this gun thing. Flare! Send out the flare! Fuck me. Oh, God. I sent out the flares, baby. Send out the flares. And, didn't get much of a response. But thankfully, I found somebody, a ne'er-do-well who had nothing going on right now, right? Who can gaze into the abyss with us. It is, of course. And he's used to staring the abyss. He's from Birmingham. It's Birmingham King of the Geek. Dan Hadley, how you doing, sir?
Hello. Yes, I saw your flare even from Brom.
Even from Brom.
Yeah,
your hair's looking very full and lustrous today. I think of you with a short haircut.
Well, yeah, it's getting a little bit out of hand, and I've usually got some product on it for when I go live to keep it under control a little bit, because my hair just sort of grows outward and up. And it's very fine as well. That's why I have to put a lot of product on it to get it to do anything remotely sensible. Yeah, that's about as sensible as it gets. And anybody who watches anything that I ever do will probably think that, really? Yeah, my hair is impossible. Good evening. Thanks for that. I just caught the tail end of that bloody awful episode.
Yeah, believe me, they were very interested in the tail end, let me tell you. My premise is this is no way comparable to Go on the Fireplace or any other romance that we've ever seen in Doctor Who, right? It just not at all. It was
a proper grubby little spectacle that was so poorly acted. And listen to that music as well. What was Murray Gold? Was he completely high while he was recording that?
No, they all live in this weird bubble where this is a good thing. Right?
Shocking.
Again, look. All I know about haven't lived in gay culture. I've known gay people, obviously, like everybody has. But I think the closest I ever got to realities of gay culture, it was watching the first episode of It's a Sin, which I think was a very fair representation of it. Now, and again, it looked like it was fun, right? It looked like it was, having, lots of promiscuous sex with lots of unnamed partners. I can understand the idea of living your life like it's a script for a porn movie. It's fun. But that's no way to live, baby, right? That's not a moral way to live. That's not going to bring you happiness.
I think the word is it's unsustainable.
Unsustainable. It didn't sustain this episode. And the whole thing was Bridgerton fanfic, right? It was this written by a couple of useless hacks who only got their job because of their identity and their politics, right? But the point is, it's not going down that well, right? That's the point. So let's have a quick look at the ratings.
Yeah, box ticking Bints who got lucky, got the call up from Russell T Davies based on their work on a series which he had sort of slated, and yet he brings them on board when he's only got 8 episodes to.
Well, listen, he flushed 2 episodes away with not having Shooty Gatwa, which a Shooty Light episode, which actually not a bad idea. I thought Whittaker is. So the first thing I want to say that Rusty Davis is saying that the 28-day ratings for Space Babies is 5.8 million. Bullshit. Don't believe that for 1 second.
Which is an increase of about 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 1.8, basically 1.8 million. Bullshit.
I mean, I've no reason not to believe him. Because the model,
other than he lies constantly and it's completely different from the rest of the data.
Has that information been published? Have the 28-day figures been published?
No, it's just him saying it. Where is it? It's
because I won't take Russell T Davies himself at his word, really. But those figures should be out there by now. It's been 28 days.
They should be out there, but they're not. So it's isn't hitting the rates we love, but notes growth for the under 30s. So yeah, he said over here a 5.6 million. But they're building over the 28-day period. Episode 1, Space Baby, is all up to 5.6 million and counting. I don't believe you. Bottom line, I think that's bullshit. I do not believe you. And look, the returns are getting much less, right? They were up to, you've got 1.4 million, a bump over 7 days for Space Babies. And now you got a 1.2 basically, but like the amount of people watching on devices is tiny. Look at that, 280,000. That didn't watch it on a TV, watched it on a device, compared to. It
represents an enormous failure when they're the ones they made a big swing with this by debuting it at midnight, based on the whole narrative that this is where people are going to flock to before, during, and after. The overnights don't matter anymore, and they've fallen proper flat on their faces with this.
So something visibly missing though was the AAI ratings, right? Now, here's the thing. I never know what to call them, AAI or AI, right?
They're double AI, so it's Audience Appreciation Index.
Right? So
that's right.
I don't know. So Gary Lee, right? Remember Gary Lee of...
yes, I know Gary very well.
Of DreamWatch. So he's a pretty good record of leaking information that's accurate. So he says he's found the missing AI somehow. He said, I can neither confirm or deny the veracity of the figures below, but these are the figures I've found circulating online to be the AI figures the BBC have gone to extraordinary lengths to keep hidden from the public for the first time since New Who began. Yes! I mean, even whatever the figures are, they're working hard to keep them quiet, weirdly enough. Yeah. And these AI figures are shocking.
I mean, I'm sure Gary published these in good faith, but realistically, until I see them officially published, I'm not going to go anywhere near these, because they have to publish them at some point, and we've got no way of proving them, have we? I mean, we've got no way of
I think
knowing whether these are true or not.
They do have a problem with. They can't. that will get him in trouble with the BBC Charter, right? By the way, let me just bring your attention to it. Where is it? Over here. Another reason that the only people to vote for is Farage, right? Literally a reason to vote for. They're the only ones saying anything sensible with TV, right?
Okay.
British license fees should be abolished. Those who wish to watch and support BBC can do so if they really wish through a subscription service. All the talk about partiality, impartiality is a distraction. That's very true. Vote for Reform UK.
That's based as fuck. I don't know what their policies are on anything else, but that is seriously based.
Okay, fine. Let me show. I played this earlier. But they had a promo video that I saw there. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Check this out.
And I am proud of my country's achievements and ethics. We're not ashamed of our history, and we do not want it condemned nor erased. We're fed up with being called racist, aren't we? We're fed up with being smeared as bigots, aren't we? I am white and I don't feel ashamed.
Is about to become a political phenomenon, an historic one. So I urge you, join the revolt.
Oh, I hope he does well.
Well, I think he's going to romp it home in Brighton. I've got no doubt. Is it Brighton?
You think it's okay? I hope so. I mean, it looked pretty bleak.
No, Clacton. Sorry, Clacton, not Brighton. I'm certain that he'll secure that seat.
I mean, you can tell one time is good when they keep getting physically assaulted, which is
well, they're terrified of him. They're terrified of him. They need to stop him from speaking. And why do we usually find why do they usually want to go to such lengths to stop somebody speaking? Because they're telling the freaking truth.
They don't want to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah.
So the ratings for the overnights were 211. I think probably we're looking at like something similar for the 7 day, like 3-3. But like, what do you think the Rogue is going to have an effect on the overnights for episode 7?
Do I think that right? Of course.
Oh really? Okay, so fun.
Yeah.
Has it again?
Oh god, the run is far too short to for it not to. It hasn't got time over just 7 weeks, not 8, to kind of grow by word of mouth, to go organically, to take a step back for a week or two. Every single week had to make it count, had to hit it out of the park, and not display huge drops. But I think we've seen here, and the adverse publicity to Rogue as well. Since it was broadcast, I mean, you must have noticed the amount of people who've certainly told me how they're not going to be watching the show anymore. They won't play this to their children anymore.
Yeah,
this isn't Doctor Who anymore.
Right? No way whatsoever. Yeah,
and of course, well, you saw some of the tweets that I put out at the weekend, some of the posts over on X that I went with, and I mentioned the ratings again on Monday over there, which elicited a number of similar posts, which are equally hilarious back at me.
Insane.
But I mean, the truth of the matter is this clearly isn't working. It's an absolute.
Like all of these things pulled up over here. This guy Noah, right?
Yes.
This guy's such a... Is he a troll or imbecile or both?
No, he's an unrelenting moron.
He really is, isn't he? So almost all TV now isn't hitting it with the majority of people. Rant and rave about viewer totals all you want, but when the show is routinely the most watched thing on a particular channel, it usually tracks that it's pretty popular, right? So it's like saying, are you trying to say that everything is getting terrible ratings because it's woke? Yes! Arsehole.
Yes, so I told him that as well. I had a brief exchange with this guy before I realised he's a complete fucking moron. So I just muted him.
Like whenever I comment on him, he runs screaming. He never replies. Right? Yes. Who could accuse the BBC who can't bring themselves to call Hamas terrorists of having any political or ideological agenda. It's purely coincidental their viewership collapsed when their Mandarin mandated their output become kind and diverse, right? These guys are out their bloody tree.
Out of their tree, out to lunch. They're out to every meal, in fact, never mind lunch.
right. So let's have a look at the AI figures for Jodie, right? So this is actually, I'm looking at these AI figures. I haven't looked at them for a while. Better than I thought, right? So 75 is considered good, and below that, not so much, right? So this is for Flux did 85 is considered. Come on a second. Gary Lee explains it over here. Whether they're true or not appears to be quite generous in the circumstances, and when aligned with the perspective ratings, all fall below the 75 AI achieved by the lowest rated episode ever. So it's 85 is considered good. Below that, middling, right? That's why the Jodie ones were 76, 77.
I'm going to say this is quite complicated. I mean, certainly the stuff we're getting now is on a par. If those figures are true, it's roughly on a par with how Jodie's were doing. In fact, some of them are slightly less, aren't they?
No. They're a lot less, right? They're a lot less.
The more political they get, the lower they get.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
so is this? So I'm trying to figure out what this is because I haven't looked at these for a while. So that's all 6 episodes of Flux, and then the Eve of the Daleks was it, and then Legend of the Sea Devils,
right? Which was the lowest rated episode ever,
and then Power of the Doctor. Yeah, I think there was a lower figure as well in the previous season, but I mean these are bad.
It went down to 85 and above is considered good. So no, the lowest one they got was 77.
It's very finely balanced and structured. The divides between these, it's all quite closely clustered. The science behind the AAI figures is really interesting, but it's quite complicated. Yeah, and how they all line up, they compare kind of like for like they compare and contrast all drama shows, but they never compare. They don't compare, for example, drama shows to like a reality show like I'm a Celebrity or something like that, because they figured that the appeal is slightly different. So it is quite clever how they do it. It makes perfect sense too. But I just don't understand why. Usually they've been published. I know this is
look at them.
You see, this is a popular. But what I mean is, I don't know how they've managed to keep them, because even though Doctor Who TV is a popular site that we all know about, they're usually freely available for anyone to see up on the official Barb site, which is where I always go to.
The first red flag right there, right? So all fall below 75 AI achieved by the lowest rated episode, Legend of the Sea Devils, with the exception of 73 yards. I think that's because of Boom, right? Even though I think the fundamental message of Boom is completely wrong and evil, right? Well, there's a Disparu did a video on it. I'm quite into now, and his take on it, which seemed like a strong take. Which the thing that Boom I didn't really understand was you had faithfuls represented as a bad thing, then faithfuls represented as a good thing, right? And I found that somewhat jarring, right? And so his take on it was there are two different types of faith: the traditional religious faith, that's a bad thing. Our self-defined faith in oneself, faith to make you be whatever you want to be, that was a good thing, right? And those two faiths are fundamentally clash with each other. But anyway,
when I look at these figures, they do line up with what I mean, not necessarily the numbers, but the numbers themselves, but in relation to one another, kind of what I would expect. Although, actually, having said that, I would have expected what am I talking about? Jinx Monsoon would have tanked that. People do not want characters and people like that in family-orientated TV shows. And all the publicity that's been generated around that person is bound to have had adverse effects. So I'm not surprised at all that 73 yards is potentially the most popular, because as I said at the time, that had a cultural impact outside of Doctor Who fans. But looking at the rest of it and seeing that Boom is the most, to the naked eye, to the normie, because these boxes, these AAI things, They're in normies' homes. They're not in fans' homes, obviously. So and they wouldn't pick up on well, very few of them would pick up on woke matters, or even some of the subtexts about religion or anything else like that. All they would know, and all that they would vote with, was, how much did I enjoy that or not? Did that make me want to watch it? It would be a gut reaction thing, and so I'm. In relation to one another, I'm not surprised by these gut reactions. I think the dot and bubble would have probably done a lot better if not for the last 10 minutes. And I'm surprised Rogue was not even lower, to be honest, judged by... Having said that, no, because dot and bubble's quite low. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, they're all low. Again, 85 was the hit. Let's look at last the Jodie years. It was got 82 for... That was the highest one, but then... They got stuff in the 80s, right? 83 was the highest one. Episode 5, God only knows what it was.
I also think, though, that Doctor Who has been affected broadly as an intellectual property now. It's got a real stench coming off it. A couple of years ago, it was known as simply it's the most PC show on TV, and that was something that it was mocked for, that people were aware of, that normies would become aware of.
Right.
But, it's something that people joked about in tabloid newspapers, and your mates might tease you at the pub about it. But we're a few years on from that now, where people's lives, everyday people's lives, have started to be made a bit of a misery by DEI asks, either in their day-to-day jobs, or they might have somebody in their friends group who insists on this or insists on that, being referred to as X, Y, or Z. And people are just worn down by it. So I think the tolerance to it has got a lot less. And the idea, so Doctor Who being sort of amusing that they'll always feature one non-binary character. The things that people would have hand-waved a few years ago, now, not only do they keep doing that, they've upped the ante considerably. But now, Doctor Who, it's sort of, really? Are they still doing that? As you said before, I think we've all said, but you've said it particularly recently, that it reflects the times. We're in this sort of LGBTQ plus time, and we're having all of this ladled over Doctor Who.
We are and we aren't, right? There's what else this other thing?
Well, in media we are. I mean, you and I know that the general public have roundly rejected it over a period of 3 or 4 years.
I think it's being roundly rejected in a lot of circles. So this is Leah Thomas, a 6'4" strapping female swimmer with a penis. Right.
Yes, I only found out about because I'm not a sport person. I only found out about this quite recently, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'm appalled, to tell you the truth.
I recommend everybody go and look up Riley Gaines. Like when her testimony she's given about this has been shocking and horrible. So anyway, Leah Thomas, 6'4" man who identifies as a woman, will not be able to compete in the women's category in the Olympics. Thomas is infamous for being a mediocre male competitor. He was ranked like 634th in the men's events, but it was the winner of the women's event. So Sharon Davis, who I like a lot. Remember Sharon Davis? She was
of course, yeah.
Great ambassador for again, female sports. For it's amazing.
And for common sense as well. She's very plain speaking, as I remember.
So she says, at last, women and girls are being treated with respect and fairness. But in many sports like football and the FA lets males presently still 75 places from females. So much still to do. But the tide is turning, right? That's the point. The tide is turning.
I would hope. I mean, nobody would want to ban athletes like that woman from competing, but they can't compete against biological women. That's just not fair. It's patently ridiculous.
So more of the BBC's bias. Sharon Davis gives BBC's new director of sports, Alex K. Jelski, of obvious misogyny after he said the Olympic swimmer and tennis star Martina Navratilova were not experts on trans athletes in sports. Excuse me, right? But again, this is the BBC. The BBC are agenda driven. They're not result driven. They are entirely agenda driven, and you can see that in the results. So I think this bodes poorly for Doctor Who,
I mean, Martina Navratilova is a hero. You know, I'm not into sports.
I agree with
but
you.
I remember seeing her play tennis.
Hero. I mean, like she,
Yeah, there's that. There's that as well. But, you know, somebody who was thrilling to watch.
Right.
And so why on earth wouldn't you listen to her?
Right.
Wisdom.
Because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. So, yeah, this thing is crashing and burning, I think. So I just don't believe. Here, what's it? The 28-day ratings over here for Capaldi. Look, they got an extra 450,000. That's the sort of range that 28 days gets. Right? You don't get an extra 1.8 fucking million. I'm sorry, Russell. You're full of... And because it hasn't been reported, he'd be like, "Oh, I just read the thing wrong," or whatever. Once it's reported, when it doesn't matter, it's going to be... they'll just...
It's also bloody... It's also disingenuous. I mean, the kiss on Saturday night, it wasn't grubby and nasty and icky because it was two men. It was grubby and nasty and icky because of the presentation around it. Yeah. Just like Jinx Monsoon. Jinx Monsoon isn't an awful person because they're a trans person. They're an awful person because they're a nasty piece of work who's completely total activist, thick as pig shit from every quote that I've ever seen from them. You know, it's nothing to do with their how they identify. It's the fact that they're horrible people at the end of the day who shouldn't be anywhere near this brand. Same with Kate Herron and Bryony Redmond, these two writers. You know, they shouldn't be anywhere near this brand. They're clearly not talented enough to be writing for a series like Doctor Who at such a crucial time in its history. You know, and I would imagine they probably tick quite a few boxes between them. But again, it's nothing to do with that. It's because they can't bloody write.
No, exactly. But again, you know, this is where the imposter syndrome came from. So you see, look, the AIs are all much higher than these are reported. It's arguable whether the contentious casting of Jinx Monsoon as Maestro secured Doctor Who's lowest AI rating in modern times, or whether it was down to the impromptu music number. I know you enjoyed it. I hated both those aspects of it. Like nails on a chalkboard to me. All right. And now, look, the big question again. Russell, maybe you want to stop looking so fucking smug, right? Especially that piece of shit.
Most of this season has been misjudged to one degree or another from the beginning. Really, I can't blame Disney as much as attractive as that is. I blame him. I blame Russell T Davies.
Well, no, but this is what it is when you get two.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I said excuse me because I was just coughing.
Okay. I think when you have two like self-destructive people in a relationship together, they destruct quicker. Right? I think that's what it is. I think they just all they all believe the same insanity. They believe that gay people are under attack. No, they're not. They believe that they have to fight against it, and they think they're doing something important when in fact they're doing something weird, creepy, and evil. Right, but the bottom line is this: I see the chance of it going to a third season now. It can't do it based on merit. It might do it based on Disney's activism, if Disney can afford the activism. I don't know if they can. So Doctor Who's future beyond 2025 is still up in the air, but Russell Davies remains very confident. Well, I'm glad you do, darling. I don't know. Like on the back of these ratings, I don't think they're going to. I just don't think it's gonna come together, right? I don't think there's gonna be a season 16. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay. Yes. I think and I even go so far as to say I think there'll be a series 17 as well. I think it's I think it's a done deal. I do.
I know. I don't see them go. Look, if they haven't announced it yet, they normally announce it after the first week. Right? We got a second season, but if they announce it, they announce it as soon as they can, which is normally before it goes out. Right?
I have no idea whether Disney will remain on board long term. I really don't know. I mean, I've seen Disney make some strange calls and some very sensible calls, I suppose, and the things that they've dropped.
Make a sensible call. Okay.
Well, I think dropping Willow was a sensible thing to do. Dropping the Willow TV series, that kind of thing. It's okay, we fucked up. Let's just brush it under the carpet and move on. So I've got no idea what Disney are going to do, but the BBC Studios and Bad Wolf will remain locked into this, I believe, for a minimum of 4 seasons.
I don't know, mate. If they can afford it, I hope it's all going to implode beforehand. Now, I don't see this merchandise being yeah. But let me backtrack that a little bit. I am gutted that they've made this show completely unrecognized. Again, it's a queer show now. It's not a science fiction show. It's a queer show. And so I'm gutted they have all this stuff. All these resources put into it, like the new Target novelizations. That's how. But like, I'm not going to buy anything. I don't think anybody's going to buy this stuff. Like, no. I don't think these are commercially viable, frankly.
I don't know how they've got this all wrong as well. There's three books, three original books out over the next few months, which should be in every supermarket in the country in Britain at a reasonable price and handy sort of slim volumes, in either hardback or paperback, that kids can just pick up and get into. But they haven't done that at all. They're like £15 a pop. You can pretty much only get. Though I bet those will be about £8 or £9 now, just a Target novelisation.
Yeah, you can pre-order Rogue here. Let's have a look. Amazon.
These should be mega affordable. These are the kind of things you give to kids as stocking fillers.
$11.75 US.
Fucking hell. Well, that would be about £9 then, wouldn't it?
No, again, like what's that like in like because I don't live in England anymore. Like what's like a copy of 2000 AD was like 6p when I was reading it. So I don't know what it.
Okay, let's have a look online. On mine. Amazon. We've got.
Well, like, what on earth is this?
Oh, here they are.
Going to be like? Is it going to be like some?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Right. The price of the one I'm looking at is £9.19, but the recommended retail price is $9.99.
Okay. Well, there you go. Fine. Not such a great saving. Church and Rebirth. I'm like it's so sad. Right, it's just so sad that it was so shit that I have no interest in it. I can't imagine anybody buying these for their kids. This is just a shit show, right? This is just a relentless shit show, and I think we're going to get the lowest rated season finale ever. Right, it might be the lowest rated episode ever. Like I can certainly see the overnights dipping to under 2 minutes.
There's a chance it may. God, there's a chance it may build for the finale. But when I'm talking about build, I mean minimally, as in. But it's been pretty much a constant, and I don't have any expectation of it altering drastically before the end of the season.
And Paul Towson points out no Disney program has lasted past 3 seasons. I think they mostly last 1 season, don't they?
Can I point out again? This isn't a Disney program. Disney got involved after everybody else. This production was happening anyway.
Money to make it onto make this production?
No.
That seemed like
it's advantageous. I mean, Disney apparently they are footing pretty much the marketing bill, but as I understand it,
and the marketing's been shit as well.
They the show, it's generally speaking, for the most part, it's still affordable by Bad Wolf and the BBC together. Well, because and Sony as well. Again, this isn't a Disney show. It's not being made by Disney.
Would it still be affordable if it's a proven failure?
Again, that depends on their expectations for it. It depends on how they imagine, because they will have their projections. They will have sat and tracked this down over what potentially they could look to. Because Bad Wolf have got it for 5 years, for from when they announced the commission of the anniversary specials. They've got it for 5 years. So they had that's 2021. So it's with them to produce until 2026. And obviously anything that they produce in that time, in that window, up until the autumn of 2026, could potentially be shown into 2027. Where are we now?
Right.
So we're looking at the 3 years there.
Russell said he's already started writing episodes of season 3. But I don't know. I will be surprised if you get it. I just don't believe there's 5.6 million. I'm sorry. I just don't. Right, and I think there's going to be memory hold when the actual ratings come out. But okay, this is from That Park Place, which is a Disney website, like a Disney commentary website, and so it looks like it's doing very badly for them, to me, right? And then we have, what was it? Rusty Davis wants you to watch 7 episodes before the season finale. And where is it? People, here we go. What episodes does he want us to watch? The Radio Times. I'm not interested in any of these. Just tell me the episodes.
I've got it here if you want it. Where is it? I've got it here. I've got the list of episodes here that he's recommended that people watch. Where is it? I'll just get it up on screen. And it is.
I need medication for that nowadays, but okay.
Okay, and here it is for you, good sir. This is from this week's issue of the Radio Times. So you've got 5, and as you say, there's a couple of 2-parters in there. So knock yourself out.
Fair and Space. That indicates that they're going to have some kind of Pertwee cameo. They were saying played by his son. What's it? Which is something I always want to see. It's something they said they were going to do before, but his schedule did it. The guy from Gotham, right? I think that would be exciting. I don't know. Is he going to be in it? Who knows? But that does seem to be. It also gives you the setting of UNIT and what's going on with that. Then Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways. Okay. Bells of St. John. Good Man Goes to War and the Church on Ruby Road. I can't really pull anything out of that at all. What do you think?
Well, I must admit I'm a little bit past caring.
That's the truth, right? That's exactly what I am. I'm like, I don't really care.
I mean,
right?
I still think that Russell T Davies is a fabulous talent, but the guy is making such a fool of himself on a week-to-week basis, and virtually everything that he comes out with is pretty ridiculous or inconsequential or ideological. So I'm sort of tuning it out now. I mean, thank you to Rachel from Chat Don't Shout for putting this up on Twitter as well. But I look at this list and I think, I see his own Christmas special from a few months ago, sorry. I see Spearhead from Space, which he, let's face it, partly plagiarized. And Yeah, I don't know. I just think this is a pretty rum list, to tell you the truth, with the exception of
maybe the Altons will be back. Who knows?
I can say, because does anybody really care?
No, the truth is no. That's why they fill it with all these member bearers, because nobody cares. Right, it's like Big Finish. They put member bearers in everything because no one's going to buy it.
I mean, I get the impression from what he says here that these are episodes which are a bit like or directly linked to the 2 that are coming up. So in A Good Man Goes to War, you had the mystery over Amy's baby and the identity of this, that, and the other, and we've got the Ruby story kind of promising to reach some sort of head in the next couple of weeks. His own story, Parting of the Ways, how he's trying to outdo himself, I suppose, from all those years ago, and this year's Christmas special. So I just it's
whatever. I liked Shooty when I first saw it. Not when I first saw him. When I saw him when he was supposed to be introduced, running over the rooftops. That and when he was leaning into physicality, that was really a strong thing. I've really found him grating in every episode since then, and getting more and more grating every week, right? And I wasn't able to tell if it was his shitty like act outside of Doctor Who promoting it, or if it was him. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I just can't. Like, maybe it was just me. I don't know.
Well,
I just find him like Nelson.
I feel that I thought he was fantastic in Dot and Bubble, but in this one,
I mean it worked well. And then you had the crying scene at the end. I'm sick of him crying. Right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but he did play that scene beautifully. I can't deny that. It's just the things that he was given to do and say that I've got a problem with. But in Saturday's episode just gone, it was as if he was playing a completely different character. It was unrecognisable as the Doctor that I've been watching all my life.
It's unrecognisable as the Doctor I've been watching all my life, but it seemed like a natural progression from the what I've seen from the queerer is what we're trying to.
He seemed very comfortable doing all that, and as if it was as if to say, kind of, okay, now this is kind of what I really want to be doing. This is my comfort zone. I've never seen Sex Education, but I gather that it's very sexually explicit, very sexually charged, and maybe there's a lot of that kind of thing in there. A lot of people coming onto one another. In the most unsubtle of ways. I don't know, and quite frankly, again, I wish I was a bigger Shooty fan than I am, because obviously, if this had worked for me, I would be flocking to his back catalogue, but I'm not. I wouldn't.
I see you got on your thumbnail the Sutek.
I have. Sutek brings his gift of death to all non-believers.
Can he bring the gift of death to this era of Doctor Who? Okay, please. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.